Hello, my beautiful people. I have an interesting manifestation I want to share with you and tell you how I did it so that if you want to do it, you can do it too. I also want to tell you a weird detail I found out later, and yeah, and then something else that happened after too. Okay. I'm trying to think when this was. This would have been early January. Okay. So in December, I started getting antsy because I was living with other people and I was like, I want my own place. So I was like, what can I do? What can I do? What can I do? And I started getting into all these things I found on YouTube and whatnot. So here's what I did based upon everything I had learned. I did know where I wanted to live exactly, okay? But with my income and the amount of money this apartment was going to cost, I guess I was a little bit unrealistic. But I still needed an apartment or a place of my own to live, anyways, right? So at the time, there was a guy that I really loved so much. And I don't mean love like, oh, I want to do blah, blah, blah with you. No, I mean real love. Like, I love this guy so much. I loved him as a brother. I loved him as a friend. I loved him as a lover, even though we never touched each other. He was just everything to me. If you know anything about twin flames, I'm so sorry. Hold on, let me try to fix this. My God. Sorry about that, my beautiful people. Okay. So, like I said, yeah, like I said, I decided I wanted my own place. So at that time, I was not kind of, I was obsessed with this man. I had spent one evening with him just walking around. It was really cold in January. I think it was January or December, I'm not sure, when we spent an evening walking around doing nothing, just talking. And I was obsessed. I couldn't get him out of my mind. So, what happened after that, I decided I wanted my own place. So, I had thought about some things that I had learned regarding manifestation, and I decided that I was going to create a scene in my mind of me already being in the exact apartment I wanted to live in, like in the exact building and having an apartment, etc., etc. Hold on. Okay, yeah, I can still talk. And sorry, one sec. So yeah, I decided that I would create a scene of me already living comfortable in my place. And here's what I put into the scene: that I was living in my apartment. I could see the exact furniture that I desired, and keep in mind every detail in the scene that I imagined was something that I like. The feelings attached to it was like a 10 out of 10, something I wanted really, really bad. So I could see my couch, I could see my big screen TV, I could see my table that was in between my couches, and I would be lying on the couch in the living room, and I could see my door from my couch. So then I imagined that there was a knock at the door, and that I would go to the door, and I would open the door, and it would be him. And he would walk into the apartment, and he would greet me, and he would say, "Oh my gosh, whatever name. I can't believe you got your own apartment." And he would be looking around and his eyes would be big. And then he would pick me up by picking me up by my thighs. You know what I mean? And just like being like, whoa. And then, dropping me or putting me down. How people pick people up and drop people. Okay. So again, my scene was I'd be laying on my couch watching my big screen TV. I'd hear a knock at the door. I'd walk over to the door and I'd open the door, and it would be him, and he would walk in really slowly and say, "Oh my gosh, so and so." And he'd be looking around as he's saying this with eyes wide open. "I can't believe you got your own apartment." And then I would say, "Yeah." And then he would put his arms around my, like, underneath my buttocks area and pick me up into the air and drop me on the floor, like on my feet. This was the scene. Okay, so I remember the most important part is I could see all the details, and there was so much emotions that were positive attached to this, okay? Very, very, very huge, happy emotions from his side and from my side. Okay, and then I forgot about it. I didn't think anything of it. I just released it. So keep in mind, I had been looking for places for, I'm gonna say, about 2 or 3 weeks before that, and nothing really came up. I talked to some people, and that was it. So within the next 3 days, I would say maybe it was the next day, okay? I think it was like within the next 2 days. I found an ad online. I called it. I talked to the lady, and then she said I could come see it. And I told her, okay, I'd probably be there within the next 2 days, is what I said to her. So I didn't end up going the next day. I remember that because I went to my friend's house. But then I told her I'd see her the next day. So I did go see it. Everything was fine. And after she showed me the place, she said, well, I have 2 other people who are interested. And she said, I'll get back to you by Tuesday. This day was, it could have been a Sunday. I'm not sure. I just remember her saying, I don't know if she said, I'll get back to you Tuesday or Thursday, something, okay? And I said, okay. But I remember that day did come and she did not contact me, okay? So I contacted her and I said, oh, you said you would get back to me. You didn't get back to me. And then it took like 15 minutes. She got back to me and she said, oh, well, somebody has it and blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay. And I sent her a text saying, thank you. And that was it. So 2 days later, I'm hanging out with my friend, just chilling. And I got a text and it was the lady. And she said, oh, are you still interested in that place? Remember, she said there was 2 people ahead of me. That's what she said. She said there's 2 people ahead of me. Then when I contacted her, she said somebody took it. I was like, okay. So she goes, are you still interested? So I was like, that's odd. And I said, yes, I am. She said, okay. So I don't think she told me I could have it, but she said, like, I don't remember what she said. But it was our next meeting that I brought money with me. Okay. I don't know what her exact words were, but I did have money and I paid her and that was it. I got the place. Okay. So I moved in there. There was other people that also were in other areas, so that I would see them when I was in certain parts of the house, especially particularly outside of the house. So I was having a conversation with one of them one day, and he was saying something to me about the guy who had been in my space before. And I was like, oh, okay. So I just listened to him, right? So he said that the guy that was in my space, he was only there for 2 days. 2 days. I was like, 2 days? He said, yeah, he was here for 2 days and then he left. And I'm thinking, 2 days? And immediately when he told me that, I thought to myself, it's almost like this place was meant for me. That's what went through my mind. This place was meant for me. Okay. So there's that part of it, right? And then the guy that I used, I guess I could say, in my manifestation, he and I had lost contact, but it was my fault. It was my fault. I was letting my ego run everything. Yeah, it was my fault. So eventually I couldn't handle it anymore. I needed to see him. And it's funny because the motivating factor behind why I wanted to see him is I thought somehow that we should get a place together. I don't know why, but so I went to a place where I knew I could see him and we talked, and that's what we talked about. And so that part did not happen the way that I was hoping for. But hopefully you get out of this video what you need to get. You can use The details that I gave you to go ahead and manifest your own place, I visualized every detail. I know the color of couch I wanted. I put that in there. I had a 3-piece. I had a table, a particular type of table. I had a particular big screen TV. I made sure it was wall mounted. And I made sure, again, I could see the door from where I was laying on the couch. And I would hear the knock on the door, open the door, and have all these emotions of him stepping inside slowly and us greeting each other and him saying, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe you got your own place." And him picking me up. So, I hope this is helpful. Yeah, I hope it's helpful and I hope it works for you. Please, if you like this video, leave it a thumbs up. Leave me a comment and, of course, subscribe for more of tips like this that connect us to us all being interlinked. I don't know what I'm talking about because it's evening and I'm cold.